Hello everyone. In today's video, we will be looking at CSX operations in New York State during summer 2022. This summer was a blast from the past out on the rails. Between the reactivation and rebuilding of old locomotives and the reemergence of CSX's YN3 paint scheme, CSX operations had the look of a decade ago, albeit with a modern twist. This first train fits the throwback theme nicely. It is incredibly rare nowadays to see the I-004, a UPS train which usually exceeds 10,000 feet in length, running without a DPU. Additionally, it is even more uncommon to see it with 3 locomotives on the head end. This consist gave the hotshot 004 a look of the early 2010s when it often ran with 3 or 4 units up front. About an hour later, in Tappan, New York, we catch a northbound X404 being led by one of CSX's new SD70 Mac rebuilds in fresh YN3C paint. In fall of 2021, CSX decided to revert back to its 2000s-era YN3 paint scheme, abandoning the boxcar YN3B livery which had become so common. This updated version of YN3 includes the CSX website link under the logo and has been applied to all rebuilt and repainted units throughout the past year. The SD70 Mac rebuild program has been conducted in-house by CSX at their Huntington, West Virginia shops. The upgrades include updating the electronics and replacing the traction motors. Later units have also had DPU capability installed. In total, 65 of these units, numbered 4525 to 4589, are undergoing rebuild and have added a nice splash of variety to a GEVO-dominated railroad. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another video. We're spending the evening out here trackside in the milepost 20 region of the Riverline. So our first train of the evening was Q4, or M410. The symbol shifted a few months ago. Still getting used to it. But the M410 went north, had a -9 trailing. That was pretty cool. We caught that up in Congers at MP milepost 28. And now we're waiting on a southbound. I don't know what it is. It has a green signal. It had a green signal when I drove by CP26, and we're down at CP22 now. So that'll be our next train, and then we'll see what else we can catch here tonight. Alright, so we just learned that the southbound is a B713, which is ethanol loads headed for Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. And it's got a BNSF leader. I believe this one has 2 BNSF GEs, if I've read the Facebook groups correctly. And they're at milepost 45, which is 23 miles from here. So they should be here in about 45 minutes. They're going to be slowed down a little bit because what I just heard was they're getting an EC1 for a false partial activation at the crossing at milepost 26, just north of CP26. So they're going to have to stop and flag that crossing because it's malfunctioning. So that'll add a few minutes to their trip. But assuming that all goes well, he should be here in about 45 minutes. Just about 45 minutes later, B713 rounds the curve into CP22 with a 90s-era BNSF-9 leading a more modern ET44C4. On July 9th, I was out again to catch the AM intermodal rush. A staple of Riverline rail fanning for years has been trains I-010 and I-008 running south into New Jersey back-to-back in the early mornings. Today, I-010 led the duo with a large cut of Port Newark-bound international stacks ahead of its North Bergen UPS traffic. This practice has become commonplace in recent years. What used to run as a 100-axle UPS-only train now can carry up to 1.5 miles of dockside traffic on certain days. A modern flair to an old train. Ten minutes behind the 010, the I-008 comes south with its short train, having dropped off most of its consist at Syracuse, New York. For the entire time I have been rail fanning this line for about a decade, I-008 has always been a tiny train. The next train lined up through CP22 is northbound intermodal train I-157 with some new old power leading the way in the form of a repainted YN3C AC44CW and a rebuilt YN3C SD70 Mace. rebuilding locomotives has become a widespread practice across North American Class 1 railroads in recent years. Many locomotives rostered by Class 1s built in the 1990s and early 2000s are beginning to show their age. Rather than buy a brand new locomotive, it is cheaper and therefore more economical for the railroads to instead rebuild these old locomotives to get a few more years of life out of them. The SD70 Mac and the AC44CW/-9 series have been the target locomotives of many of these rebuild programs, as they are the most widespread locomotives of the 90s-2000 era still in service today. On July 23rd, I took a day trip up to the Capital Region in upstate New York to try and catch some CSX action along the Chicago line. Out along the Mohawk Sub, the first train of the day is eastbound intermodal train I-158 with a GEVO leading and a rebuilt EMD SD70 Mace as the mid-train DPU. Fresh out of the Huntington, West Virginia shops, the DPU capability on number 4569 is a new feature that has come with its rebuilding. This is just another way that CSX has put a modern spin on relics of the past in recent months. In addition to rebuilds, CSX has also put old store locomotives, some of which haven't pulled freight in years, back into service to help with increased traffic growth. YN2-9 number 9014 is one such example of these 25-year-old engines getting a new lease on life in 2022. Amtrak will always be a staple of the Mohawk Sub, with train 284 arriving in Amsterdam. Amtrak operations continue with Train 63 headed for Toronto, Ontario, headed west. Following Amtrak 63, CSX I-007 heads west with the same power set that we saw on I-008 a couple of weeks ago. It is fairly common for power sets to stay on the I-008, I-007 turn for weeks at a time.
Clear, 173, right.
Intermodal train I-003 had an interesting lash-up on the head end. Leading was a YN2 AC44CW, recently re-equipped with DPU capabilities. Trailing, also recently re-equipped with DPU capabilities, was a YN3C ES40 DC fresh out of the paint booth. M620 follows 003 west with 2 GEs up front. The next train didn't show until I-157 departed west from Selkirk with 2 of CSX's rebuilt AC-44CW locomotives classified as CM-44AHs powering the train west. At the east end of Selkirk Yard at CPSK, we catch our 2 final trains, the first of which is M403 building its consist to head south down the river line to Philadelphia. The last train of the day is I-169, coming off the river line and into Selkirk Yard for a crew change with a 1x1 GEVO set for power. What's up, everybody? We're out on the Riverline this afternoon at CP5, hoping to catch some action. So first train of the afternoon is going to be I-008, a very late I-008, and they're just right around the corner at TP7, so we're going to get them first.
Equipment defect detector, milepost 7.4.
So if you've watched videos on this channel before, you know that I-008 is usually a very short train around here. They come out of Rose Lake, Illinois, which is right by St. Louis, and they come east to Syracuse, drop off most of their train there, and then come down to North Bergen with the small amount of priority UPS traffic that is destined for North Jersey. So that's why they're always so short through here. They're probably over a mile at least up until Syracuse, but then at Syracuse they cut off most of the train and just bring a little bit down here. So that's why they're always a really short train. So up next, I think we got a B701 ethanol train coming south, and I don't know about anything else, so we're just gonna see how the afternoon goes. All right, so we're up at Teaneck now at CP10, and we got two M trains. Crewless stopped on track 2 and the middle siding. This is M404 of the 13th, so this is 4 days ago. This train originated in Philadelphia. And this is M422. I don't know the date on this one. But, yep, they're sitting here waiting on crews to get them up to Selkirk. And then we're going to have the B701 coming from this way on track 1 at some point soon. So we'll see if we can get a meet between these three trains here. I might move up for the B701. I'll see how the lighting is. But either way, still cool to see these two mixed freights here side by side. It turned out that intermodal train I-158 was ahead of the B701. Throughout the latter half of the summer of 2022, CSX, which was incredibly short on crews, abolished a few trains in and out of Selkirk, including trains M410 and M409. Instead of originating and terminating at Selkirk, these trains used Philadelphia as their home terminal, with the mixed freight catching a ride on intermodal trains I-157 and I-158 between Philadelphia and Selkirk. This practice was only in effect for about a month until the worst of the crew shortage was over. After I-158, I moved back down to Ridgefield Park, where B701 loaded ethanol for Philadelphia rounded the corner with 2 CSX GEs pulling.
Impeccable timing. Your outbound just got here, so I'll bring you down to 69th Street for your swap.
Okay, great, thank you.
You're welcome. That 158's just now getting the light, so they'll start pulling down in a minute. Then you can keep on coming down, so I can get this other B train out of here. Thank you. CSX equipment defect detector. Milepost 7.2. Track 1. No defects. No defects. Total axle 316. End of transmission.
With B701 in the clear, an empty ethanol train, B782, gets the light to depart town heading north. Leading this train is ancient CSX C40-9W number 9005, still wearing its original YN2 paint from the 1990s. It has been common for CSX to send its recently reactivated units to foreign railroads to pay off horsepower hours. This is one reason why we have seen Dash 9s on 2 B trains already in this video. Many of these units find themselves on tanker trains originating on these western railroads and work their way back east to the refineries of New Jersey. Our first train of the day is southbound M409 on a one-off run from Selkirk with 3 GEVOs for power, with 2 up front and 1 in the middle. Alright, how's it going, everybody? It's another evening out here on the Riverline. Yesterday we did down by Ridgefield Park, and today we're doing a bit further north up in the Hudson Valley. And we got a couple northbounds coming now. We got I-157 and B-104 empty oil train, both coming north. And we already got M-409 up at 43. So these will be our second and third trains of the evening. I-157 is about to come around the corner right now. I-157 had for power a duo of recently repainted YN3C units, the first of which being an unrebuilt AC4400CW and the second of which being a rebuilt CM44AH. With the sun setting behind the mountain just after the lead locomotives pass, we catch our final train of the summer, northbound empty oil train B104 with yet another reactivated C40-8W trailing.
codes QR100.5, signs no, and then circle line.